Hi, I'm going to go through all my music books. First, reference guides. Now, I'm not going to do it in any particular order, so you might find one here, one there, all over the place, because basically that's how my books are. They're all... So this one, 1966, let's go through that first. Now, I'll probably spread it over a couple of videos. So there will be a video further on, obviously right at the end, if you can click that, go to the next one. But this one's 1966. I've got quite a few of these ones. Basically, it's a yearbook, and it got loads and loads of information about 1966, as well as, of course, lots of references to the various tracks that were very popular. It's also got things about, obviously, Ready, Steady, Go, the Beatles, and others. And this is by John Savage. Now, of course, he's created lots of other books as well. Pocket Guide to Mod. Got quite a few mod books. This one is a very nice one. This one's by Paul Smarter Anderson, obviously well-known mod there. Chapter 2, from this, obviously it's got the early mod period, as well as, of course, the mod revival, obviously in the 60s mods as well. You've got a lovely one there, mod, as it says. Just tons and tons of information. And also, of course, lots of mentions of various tracks that are really great to go and listen to as well. There's some more pictures there, but not too many pictures, but still full of lots of great information about mod music. Another Story of Northern Soul, David Null. Again, some of the great music here. Lots and lots of references to some absolutely brilliant places. Unfortunately, I never went to any of them because lots of them were up in the north. Never, ever really knew about this scene at all, which is really slightly annoying. But anyway, that's life. Long gone now. And you can it talks about things like this. I love this bit. 5-cent junk shops fines become £1 and £2 records among the Northern Soul fraternity. Nowadays, probably £100, I suspect. But this talks about all the various clubs, and it's got a few pictures, but not excessive amount of pictures, but still full of some great information, as well as some lovely lists of all the various records that were very popular at the time. So, Northern Soul. These are lovely books. This one, Harlem 69, The Future of Soul. There was a 67 one, also there's a 68, which I'm just going to show in a sec. This one is The Future of Soul, and it's lots of text. There's a few pictures, but it's really quite detailed. Lots and lots of information about that period. This one's The Tragedy of Southern Soul. And you've got here talking about Otis Redding, as well as, of course, many others. And again, follows much the same format. Lots and lots of information. Book runs for about, let's see, and stacks and all those sort of things, of course. About 300 odd pages. Fascinating little book. This one's great as well. I think quite a lot of these books are great. Whenever I go through, I think, I must purge a few books. Sometimes I think, should I get rid of that one? Shut up. But this one, I think, no, I definitely wouldn't want to get rid of this one. From Birdland to Broadway. This is just fascinating. Lovely book about the period jazz life. Now, I'm not particularly a jazz fan, but I love that period, 1950s, and it describes it so, and especially New York as well, full of lots of information about that time, lots of people's memories about all the various acts, of course, at the time, as well as lots of other things as well. So definitely worth checking out, Birdland to Broadway. This one's lovely. He's done loads. David Hepworth. I love watching his videos, and also Never a Dull Moment. Really enjoyable book. This one, Rock's Golden Year. I think everyone, that's 1966, 1971. You can see a theme. I've got a few books like that, 1972, 1973, 76. I think every year is always the year that people think is the great year. But this is just a lovely read. I find his books the best to read. So easy. You can pick it up. Quite often it's the sort of book I pick up and go on the train. And by the time I got to London, I've sort of finished the book because you can read through it because it's so well written, so easy to read. But it's full of great information about, obviously, Brown Sugar there, Rolling Stones, the Beatles, and Pink Floyd, and many others. And again, it's got lots of information at the back, such as their 1971 in 100 albums. So that's definitely a recommended book. This one's an oddball one. One I got, you can see in a charity shop, the worst album covers ever. I think there's some pretty bad ones that I've seen over the years. Probably some, they're not that bad. So some, I'm not saying that's a title that I would put on an album cover. Millie Jackson, ESP there, With You in Mind, Windy Johnson and the Messengers. Okay, I've never heard of them. Or Mexican Joe. And this one, Little Joe and why not? But I'm certain that people loved them at the time. People love them now. I'm certain they're probably very collectible as well. Probably virtually impossible. Quite often when I go in charity shops, you quite often pick up album covers and you think, that's absolutely, that would be perfect for that book. This book's lovely. bits and pieces. I love trivia books, facts and trivia. You could probably do sort of lots of pop quizzes from this book because it's packed solid with information about various acts and things like series of TV, UFO, Protectors, Space 1999. Also 15 LPs featuring guest appearances by former Beatles. Something you've always wanted to know. But also Give a Little Love, Bob Geldof. And also tons of other ones as well. There's always some difficult to pronounce rock and roll related names. Now that probably would make it very hard to communicate to a certain device that's sitting just behind me, because whenever you say anything, it doesn't understand. So I think it would have problems with Wolfgang Dion, or whatever. I can't even say it. I'm not very good when it comes to saying names. Anything that rock and roll, that's rock and roll, I should say, in the beginning. But it's a really good book. Really pleased I picked that one up. Again, another charity shop find. Love this one. Christmas Every Day. Now, it's not really about Christmas, but it's about glam rock albums. And Peter Chesterfield has done some really brilliant books. And he's got lots of pictures, obviously, of the albums. Now, I wish he'd gone for bigger. Much nicer, because they're fairly small, but still, Sweet's biggest hits. You've got, obviously, the tracks. And you've got details about the actual album. And, of course, other ones as well. Gary Glitter. We won't go off that. Queen. And also Wizard. And Slade. Old sensational Alex Harvey Band, and so on. So it's a lovely little book, 1970 to 1976. This is a lovely book as well. Got lots of books that I really like. All-time top 1,000 albums. I've got a few of these sort of books. It's always fascinating because you go through it and you've obviously got the albums there. London Calling, brilliant album. What's Going On, absolutely superb. Let It Bleed, brilliant. Wish You Were Here. I've actually never listened to that. I've never actually listened to Dark Side of the Moon. I probably have, actually. I can't recall particularly. It wasn't an album that I've ever got, so certain people will say, what? But you can't get every album. I've got loads and loads of albums and listened to loads of albums. I love Supreme, brilliant. Coltrane there. Also, of course, you've got Clash again. I love the Clash. Beastie Boys, On the Beach. Neil Young, love Neil Young. Also, you've got Rhythmics and so on. There's just so many albums. If you've got 1,000, there's always going to be some you haven't listened to properly in here. You might have listened to all of them. I don't know. This is superb. I love these sort of books. Completely hopeless because it's a reference book, but still fascinating. And you can, of course, tick them off as you listen to songs. You say, oh, I've listened to that finally. Donny Osmond, why? I think that's a question mark. No, I actually quite, he was okay. Then you've got Elton John, Crocodile Rock. Not one of my favourites. Lindsay DePaul, the pipes and drums of the military band of the Royal Scots. All that sort of, that was 1973. 1974, you got Marie Osmond. You can see there's a common theme here. David Bowie, Knock on Wood. No, I don't remember that one. That's a song of David Bowie's that I really can't recall. Oh, Last Farewell. That's a good one. Rod Stewart, Sailing, of course. That was 1975. 1976, Silly Love Songs. I love that one. Paul McCartney, of course. Fernando by ABBA, Candy Staton, Young Hearts Run Free, and so on. So it's a official. I really love this series. And I think there's a 60s, probably in 50s, 80s one. Oh, no, 60s, 80s, and noughties. So there isn't one for the 50s. That's strange. Anyway, or 90s. Okay, maybe there is. I don't know. Who knows? Jazz classics. Again, another one of the ones that you just pick up. You think, oh, that's interesting. It's just full of some great picks. Count Basie, Tubby Hayes, of course, absolutely brilliant. Clinton Ford, as well as many others as well. Ken Collier. And there, Len Baldwin. My apologies there. I must admit, not an artist that I'm particularly familiar with. I'm not particularly a mega jazz fan. I love some music of jazz, but it's still a great little book, a lovely black and white book here, and top numbers special, apparently. I don't know what that was, but it must be in a magazine. This is a lovely one. The Ultimate Guide to UK Glam Rock. Talk about very, very narrow sort of band of things there. You've got Peter Chesterfield again. He does some great reference books, but it's what I love that. You want to peel it off, but of course you can't because it's part of the picture there. From the author of the Beatles, Tell Me What You See, and Channeling the Beat. But that's really narrow, isn't it? It's just page after page talking about all the various references to songs that were played on various shows. And this one in France, Germany, Sweden, because that's quite a lot of the music, I think, has survived from obviously those songs obviously have survived, but the actual performances of those songs on video on TV, lots of them are like German ones or French ones. You go and see Beat Club or something, those sort of programs. I think it's just great. So you can flick through this and you can see there, Top of the Pops, obviously the first cut is the deepest. Now some of these probably might not exist. Some may not. You can see all the way through this, it's just page after page. Just like, I mean, Holland there, you got their Rocket. I'm not even familiar with Rocket. Who was Rocket? Mud. Was playing Mud. Okay. Without actually going back to the front to actually see who's back, Rocket, I must admit. But yeah, well, it's some more unknown TV show. That's really good, isn't it? Unknown TV show. But what a brilliant reference book. This one's great as well. Ooh. Top of the Pops, the punk and new romantic years. Just superb. I mean, it's just full and full. Now, probably most of these exist. Whereas the other one, the book with all the others from obviously the 60s and 70s, quite a few of them, some, not all, but have long gone, sadly. There's like the occasional sort of recording, the occasional clip, that's about it. But this one is just full of lots of the ones probably that still actually exist. Obviously David Bowie there, Pearl's the Singer. Remember that one? Probably watched it. I'm certain I watched it, in fact. Dead End Kids. Remember that as well. Shawady Wally. When? Stardust. Baccarat. Yes, Sir, I Can Boogie. And so on. 1978, Tonight, Drummer Man. Not familiar with that one. Actually, I think probably at the same time because you've got Brother of the Man, Figaro, and also, of course, Wings, Muller King Tar, which was number one for about 4,000 years. Felt like it anyway. It just did not go. It's one of those ones you think, when? But it's also got Peter Powell there and, of course, Tony Blackburn and so on. But this is a brilliant, I mean, it's a real thick reference book. Now, maybe not for everyone, but this is definitely one to check out if you're into Top of the Pops. And this one is Christmas number ones. I love all these sort of things. Christmas one, great. Now, of course, it's got the early 50s and 60s and those sort of 1955. Dickie Valentine there. Hello, Goodbye, the Beatles. Not some of these songs, of course, you don't really feel associated with Christmas particularly, but the Monkees as well. It's got there. Obviously, that was The Green Grass of Home, Tom Jones. And also, one thing that's really great, it actually lists the Christmas number one in other countries. So you've got like the Seekers, and one in Germany was Draffy Deutscher, or something like that. Also, you've got the Beatles, and the Dave Clark Five apparently was number one in USA. I don't think they were probably in the UK, probably long gone, weren't. But still, you've got Human League, of course, Don't You Want Me, and also many others as well. So this one's a lovely book to check out, Craig Halstead. And finally, in this first batch, I'm just going to quickly run through. I'm just going to go and get some more books in a few seconds. So, The Lost Years Rediscovered. No, they're not really rediscovered because at the end, unfortunately, most of the episodes are long gone. But the information in here is just brilliant. I mean, it's great someone's done it. 1964 to 75. Because lots of the shows probably long gone. It also gives you the name, obviously, of the presenter. And I won't mention the name. Alan Freeman there. You've got Alan Freeman, Pete Murray. I mean, Pete Murray, all those sort of people. The Turtles, David and Jonathan, P.P. Arnold. That one's the first cut is the deepest. Jimi Hendrix Experience. This is a repeat period. It gives the information. Also, it's got some lovely pictures and clips as well, which I think is just great. Just a lovely, lovely book. Always from 1968 and more pictures. Absolutely classic reference book, this one. Freewheeling Time. I absolutely love this book. Probably one of the best record covers of all time. Of course, Freewheeling Bob Dylan. Just fascinating. Absolutely brilliant snapshot into a person's life. 60s, all covered in this, all the verse. I just absolutely can't say enough about this book. Just absolutely brilliant. So I think masterpiece and some great pictures as well. When I went to New York, first thing I did was go here. Now, unfortunately, it was nothing like that by the time I got there. But still, I went down that street. I walked down the middle of the street. Luckily, there was no cars coming at that point. But nor was any snow. No, because it was actually baking hot. It was about 100 degrees. It was searingly hot. I think I lost most of my skin that day. But it was still absolutely... I didn't have that jacket either. Still, brilliant, brilliant cover. And also a brilliant book. The A to Z of Mod. Now, this one is full of some great examples of Eric Clapton. Okay. Also many others. Eric Clapton, not immediately associated with Randy Cousins. DC Fontana, obviously going through it there. Sound Venture. And Martin Freeman, I love Martin Freeman. I just watched a film, Martin Freeman, a couple of days ago that was just brilliant. Wild Target, I love that film. He was an assassin, just superb. Of course, he's in Responder at the moment as well. That's pretty good. The Isle of Wight, Scooter Rally, and also lots and lots of other examples. But this is a lovely little book. Paolo Hewitt and Mark Baxter. Get their names right. Terrible to not get it right. This one's a lovely one. Got quite a few jazz cover and all cover album. Mainly Tashin. Tashin did lots of these books. I just love them. Absolutely. Now, I've actually got probably others that I've tucked away elsewhere, so I might not find every single one of these ones because they did so many. But it's got loads and loads of references to various record covers. And I think these jazz ones just always look amazing. Not all. Look at that one there. Australian Jazz Quartet. Okay. Maybe not the world's greatest. 3 for Shep, apparently. Jimmy Cleveland and many others. Mr. Music there. But it's still an absolutely lovely book. Rock covers. This one's 40 Taschen, it says there, obviously. 750. Oh, it's got, I remember this one. It's got a weird sort of way. I hate that flap. Just horrible. Oh, just never can open it because then you feel like ripping it off. You can see there, obviously, Little Richard, as well as many other ones. Pet Sounds, Beach Boys, and also, of course, Tim Buckley, and also many others. But it's got, obviously, lots of information about the albums, and probably not very much more, but it's still got some great covers all the way from Jimi Hendrix there, and, of course, Jimi Hendrix there as well, and Kraftwerk, and others.